Okay folks, we got a swage press at 2 yards. My reloading bench is a 60-inch 4-drawer with 5/8" hole plugs from Windsor Design. Let's get started. Something I know you'll really like, derimming. Alright, the derim die is pretty much just straight through. See, the last one stays in there. They go in about 1/4 of an inch before they stop. Base punch, it's rounded, and it brings it down to a specific diameter and removes the rim. Basically, it turns this, focus, this into this. Yeah, not sure about that exactly, but it might buff out, but I'm doubting it. All right, let's set this thing up. I should have. Yeah, we'll try that one. See what happens. All right. Basically, see this base punch just screws in. Usually I put in the die first. It solves some problems. Sometimes the punch coming up will interfere. No winter's coming on. Skin splits every winter. These plows have been running. I'm not happy. I'm not thrilled about snow removal. Okay. Let me just run this one just to see. The lube, like I say, these fingers, roll these. Basically want to make sure you get some lube on this rim and the body, but it slides on here. Goes up through. Alright, now found 3 behind will pop out the one you're looking for. So I'll run 3 through, and the one that comes out will be the one I just put in. Alright, let's see. Federal, 2 Remingtons. So the second one to come out should be a Federal. This is the most pressure you'll have to put in through the whole process. 2 Remingtons. Actually, forgot. There's one already in there. So this is the one that was sitting in there. And this will be the first one I put in. And it did not buff out. I mean, it did a pretty good job, but there's no Bondo in bullets, so that's junk. Let me set this up so you can get well, actually first, let me set this up so you can get a view from below, and we'll move in a logical direction. Alright, first thing you want to do is rub a little lube on here so they don't stick. Once that wears too thin, you'll run a case up in here, bring it out, and it'll still be on the punch. Then what you got to do is clean the lube off of it, run it up in and out a few times till friction takes over, and it'll stay. Then you immediately re-lube this pin. Tend to lube it up just a little bit, probably every handful. So you just sit on there like that. Now right there, it's already starting to take. Let me see if you can see. Come on, focus. It's already taken the rim out. Right there, it's it's in too far to come out. So let's go back in. That one is, I could probably ease that one in. Yep, there we go. Let's see how that one comes out. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And whoop, I'll put that down. Looks all right. So, yeah, and every now and then you get one where this one's not, but the firing pin has torn through, and you go run it up, and the base will basically just tear right off, and it gets a little violent. It's a little scary the first time. You think you broke something. All you did, you tore a case, and you basically, most of it will be stuck on here, and you have to get it off, and then there'll be a little piece up in the die, which not a big deal. Often it'll just come out with a few cases, or you know, unscrew the die and dump it out. But yeah, that's what there is to derimming. Not a big deal. It's just takes a little more force than most things, but it's not too bad. It's still, you know, a one-handed operation. And let's see, get you where you're not staring up the ceiling. Oh, come on. Ooh. There we go. So they're just coming out the top. Now you see why I modified this to fit on. Then eventually they just start falling in there. Once it starts filling up, they work their way down, and I'm gonna go till this is full if I've got enough. Start tumbling. And that's probably where I've got to really watch how many I put in more, because the lube is definitely tougher to take off than sand. I upped the Dawn to a tablespoon because the teaspoon doesn't cut it with lube. I don't remember if I tried half a teaspoon or not. I probably did, and it wasn't enough. I've tumbled two, 3, 4 times before. It just didn't work until I added more Dawn. So, yeah, it's all a learning process. I've only been at this, I bought my dies beginning of this year. Takes a few months to get them. June, say? Somewhere around there. And I haven't been steady at it. You know, little breaks, a little bit of time figuring it out. So, it's not like I'm an old pro who's been at this for long period of time. I'm still learning. Probably every time I do it, I learn something. Either something works better or pressure. And I found part of the bullet that Elvis got that were off. Part was the dies were a little out of spec, and also I was applying too much pressure trying to make it work because the dies were out of spec. And I actually cracked my base punch, come to find out, which I didn't notice. I looked it over with a magnifying glass, but I didn't notice. BT figured that out when I sent it back. So yeah, I've got to adjust all that and kind of relearn things a little bit. but with everything fitting properly, it should be a little better. It should be, you know, not trying to overcome something that's a little bit off. Let me think. Think if there's anything really else more to this. It's just a lot of run through till you got enough. Throw in the tumbler, and go through the pin extraction all over again. Yeah, once you hit the tumbler, it's the same old, same old. So, all right, let me get at these and get them ready for the next step. All right, see you. Came across a couple that are, woo, coming out of focus. Yeah. Right there, that one's cracked. And this one, right there is cracked. So, no good. So I didn't point out, if you notice, you don't ram these home. They come up and you hear it hit, but then after that it's just a steady pressure. Third thing is trying to maintain consistency is the biggest thing this is waging. Trying to keep your pressures and your speeds and everything kind of the same. Yeah, I mean, may come up and smack, but that's just finding the hole, and then I press. So yeah, I've got some of these started pretty good. I'm on my way, and after this, tumble and then a kneel. Yay! All right, just show you a couple things I've run into. Nothing other than those so far. I just happened to notice them. All right, in a bit. All right, I just had a head break off. See, it's in the die somewhere. Ooh. See if I can ease it off. Without touching the pin. Don't want to damage anything. Let's see if I find the head. Whoa! There go my counterweights. Alright, let's get this die out and see. Don't see it? Interesting. Oh, here it is. It's sitting down on the lower tray. It had dropped out. A lot of times they'll end up above the, in the top of the die. But yeah, just a little chunk came off. Sometimes it's more. Chase that down. Alright. I haven't had any stick on the pin yet, or I'd show you what that's about. If I do, I'll bring you back. Alright. In a bit. Alright. I ran into a piece brass that hadn't cleaned during tumbling. Here's a clean one for comparison. When I put it on the base punch, there was a little grittiness to it. So I took it off, and yeah, it's really bad. It happens on occasion, but it's pretty rare. So I'll just throw this in back in the collection there and tumble it next time I have a bunch of brass. So it's not a loss, it's, you know, just another time. Alright, in a bit. Alrighty, that's done. Didn't have any sticks, so I couldn't show you that. It's a good thing, but, you know, not for video drama or explanation, really. It's not good for educational purposes, but it's good for the die. Had one more pop, like a soup can. All right, so let's see what we got here. See how much blackening this does. It's from the lube. Crazy. Yeah, I'll tumble these. Go through that process again, and then we'll get on with the annealing. I kind of got ahead of myself at the end of the other video. I said turn up the heat, which is referring to annealing, but the heat I turned up is that pin gets pretty warm, and if you do enough, actually the front, this front bar here, one time I had that pretty warm. The friction, even using lube, it will build up. I was like, warm your hands on it. Not enough to burn, but enough to warm your hands on. It was wild. But, yeah, alright. Yep. Let me get going on this and get back to you. See you later. Alright. I tumble them for an hour with a tablespoon, tablespoon of the Dawn Pro. And they had a very thin film of lube still left on. All I had to do is wipe it off lightly with a towel, and they would look like this. Which, while it doesn't sound great, is actually for this many. If I was using the Dawn Ultra, the regular Ultra, I would consider it stellar results. So what I did was I retumbled them. I used the 1/4 teaspoon of lemon shine again, and I do have just citric acid, but I've got a couple of bottles of lemon shine. One I didn't even know I had. I just discovered. I'm like, I got plenty. But the second time I tumbled it with just a teaspoon of the Dawn Pro, and they came out perfect. They're lovely. So every time is like a new learning experience sometimes, and adjust things. So I figure with the Dawn Pro, I can get away with tumbling more. Just, I'm thinking if I use 4 teaspoons of it, just that little extra. Like I said, the citric acid is good, I guess, at eating the lube. BT says he makes up like a slurry, I think, in a vibratory tumbler. He says if you leave it more than an hour, it starts eating the zinc out of it. So I'm like, nah. But when I add any more than that, I always have problems with it getting dull and almost, I call it blackened, but it looks tarnished, but almost like it's starting, like that when it's been sitting at the range and exposed. It almost feels like it's going that way. So there's that little too much, too little, err on the side of caution. Adjust the soap is what I'm finding works best. It took me long enough to figure out how much that I asked some questions, and looked on the forums, and one of the response, you know, some of the replies were, "You're using too much, let me shine." Okay. So that's actually where I figured that out. It was other people's input. But yeah, I'll get these separated and ready to anneal. All right, have a good one. See you soon.